Hey, welcome to Let's Chop It Up. We're here today to talk about a subject dealing with part two of entrepreneurship, and we're dealing with the strategies of entrepreneurship. I'd like to welcome back our guests that we have. We have Tanika, Willie, Josh, and Rashawn. All of them are successful business owners, and they'll be sharing some of the informations of the strategies for their businesses. And as we go around, I want to have the guests remind you of a short description of what their job, the businesses that they started. So let's start off with Tanika.
My name is Tanika Bryant, currently in North Carolina, owner of Pivotal Logistics Trucking Company, president of Black Business Association, which is a 501c3 where we help Black businesses to plan, launch, and grow, and CEO of Buy Black Lou, which is a Black business directory.
Willie.
Hello, my name is Willie Combs, President CEO of Combs and Associates. We're an IT consulting company. We specialize in everything from development assistance, software development, systems administration, staff augmentation, whatever you need, even cloud migration for IT businesses.
Thank you. Josh.
I'm Joshua Armstrong, and I live in New Jersey. I have a couple business ventures I'm into, but one of my most prominent ones is New Jersey Delivery and Errand Service, which is pretty much a courier service, and where we pick up and deliver whatever you can.
Rashawn.
Good morning. I'm Rashawn Cardwell. I'm out of Bakersfield, California, and I own a non-medical home health agency where we work with seniors, veterans, workers' comp, patients who need help around the house. We do CNAs, home health aides, anything that doesn't require a nurse.
All right. So as you can see, they're all business owners. And so we're going to get ready to jump into this topic dealing with entrepreneurship and the strategy. So let's begin to chop that up. So let me ask you this question for any of you on the panel. What type of plan did you have to follow to, my guests are looking at me strange.
No, you're good.
Good.
Okay. I got this strange look from Rashawn and Tanika. So it's like, okay.
Alea just walked past.
Oh,
Your
I didn't see that.
your granddaughter.
Okay, all right. So I didn't see that. I didn't see that part. But go ahead. What plan? What type of plan did you have to follow? What was your strategy to get your business going? Anybody can jump in.
Well, my first strategy was to join a networking group. I'm telling you, your network will determine your net worth. And one of the benefits about a networking group is one, yes, you will get business from it, but most importantly of all, you're around other entrepreneurs, and if you're gonna have a business, you need to be around other business owners so you can learn. One of the biggest one, if you're gonna have success in it, you have to learn how to be better at this, and by being around other business owners that are doing it and doing it well, you learn tips. So, and that's been one of my strategies that has helped me be very successful.
Yeah, same for me. I joined a group. It was a network, but they also had a mentorship program. So
Mm.
it was a company out of Irvine, California, and they were very successful in starting a home health agency. And they still run a home health agency, but they have a second business where they help other aspiring agency owners start their business. So, I joined them, and before we even touched a piece of paperwork, I had to go through their boot camp. So it was like a week long, all day, maybe even 2 weeks long boot camp where they went from start to finish struggles, everything that you needed to know about owning a home care business. We went through that boot camp first, and then from there, they mentored me step by step on how to get the business going. So to me, that was pivotal, outside of business plan and those things like that.
Anyone else?
I think what's great about what you're doing here, Steve, is that I happen to, in terms of a strategy, did none of these things that I should have done that I'm hearing from this great panel. And let me tell you, it's not from one of my favorite movies. It's not a course of action I would recommend. So I think it's great that you're doing this and listening to what everyone is saying is perfect. These are the things you have to do. You have to do the networking. You have to do your homework. For my IT consulting business, I kind of stumbled because I didn't have that firm foundation of the things that the folks are expressing. I did during my MBA program take a franchise management program. And a lot of what these folks are saying is exactly those things that they try to instill in you to help you be successful. Because you may get out there and start, it's funny because you may get out there and think you can run and jump and get real high, but gravity comes in and takes what it needs to do and brings you back real fast. So you might have that bit of, in order to soar, these are the things you most certainly have to do. So in terms of strategy, I would say, listen to the Let's Chop It Up podcast, and do a lot of these things to make sure you're educated and you're ready to understand what it entails to run a business, the ups and the downs.
Right. And my strategy was pretty much the same as Rashawn and Rev J stated, but just on the other side, I didn't join a networking group, but I had actually started a networking group. And how that started was I saw the lack of support and other things for Black businesses. So I initially just wanted to create a space to highlight Black businesses, showing people where I was going, showing my friends and family. And from there, it just took a life of its own and actually became a business and a networking group. So having that networking group and building that and being able to see what they needed helped me to build the strategy for my business.
Okay. So within your businesses that you have, to start your business, did it require any license, any state license? And did you have to create a corporation? Did you have to have an LLC or anything like that? Let's talk about those things that you have to plan for.
Yeah, so for like mine, I needed a state license. There was a time in California where you can start a home care agency and you didn't need a license at all, but that ended in disaster for a lot of people in the community and throughout the state. So California implemented that you had to be a licensed home care organization in order to continue running. So for me, I had to get a state license, and it wasn't a just fill out a piece of paper and turn it in like I have an LLC. I did mine through an LLC. And I always tell people when they ask me, how did you start your LLC? Should I do an LLC? Talk to your tax professional, talk to a tax attorney, because an LLC works for me, that doesn't mean it's going to work for your business. I have a family member who owns a respite business. It's similar to what I do, but different. And for them, being incorporated was much better than being an LLC. So, there's a lot of information out there that people say, start an LLC, pay yourself your state tax money, talk to a tax professional. All right. So, but for me, I had to get a state license. So this networking group that I dealt with, they walked me through getting my license because there's paperwork I had to fill out. I had to have company policies already written. I had to have a handbook already written. I had to have all my insurances in place. And that was general liability, a bond insurance, because I deal with healthcare, even though it's non-medical. I had to have sexual assault and molestation insurance. I had to not have non-owned auto insurance, workers' comp insurance. All of these things had to be in place. So I had to essentially have my business running before I can even submit my license to the state, but I was not allowed to operate until my license came through. But everything had to be active, insurances and all those things. My business license. So in addition to having an LLC, I had to go to the city where I live in, and I had to get a business license. And because I have an LLC under the Cardwell Group LLC, my business is called Safe at Home. something that I didn't know until I did this. You can't just run your business as a DBA. That's actually a legal process. So because I
Explain
was
that.
safe, yeah.
Explain that one part. You just threw out.
So my legal company name, the LLC, is called the Cardwell Group LLC. My home care organization is called Safe at Home. What I had to do was I had to go to the county and show them my LLC that we are the Cardwell Group, but while we are doing business for home health care, we are going to go by Safe at Home. So I had to file paperwork with the city, letting them know that we are the Cardwell Group operating, or DBA, doing business as Safe at Home. I had to file the paperwork. I also had to run an ad in the paper for 30 days in 2 different newspapers, letting them know that the Cardwell Group is notifying the public that we will also go by the name Safe at Home. So once all of that was approved, then it's called a fictitious business name. That's what it's called. Your DBA is called a fictitious business name. So once my fictitious business name was approved, then my business license was approved, because they weren't going to give me a business license that says the Cardwell Group DBA Safe at Home without a fictitious license. So once that was done, I got my fictitious license, my business license, and I had to send that all into the state, and eventually got my state license. So for me, it was a process. It took months.
Anybody else?
Not me. I don't need no state license, and I didn't want a business that needed all that stuff. I didn't have no money, you know. And I'm a very basic person. I don't like complex things. I want something very simple. So and plus what I want to do really was very simple. So no, I didn't need but of course, as you expand, you learn. Like Rashawn was talking about, whether it be with LLC or incorporated, you know, and depending upon what your personal life is, all that stuff. So and you again, and that's okay. You know, if you can if what you want to do is not that complex, what Rashawn does, he do healthcare. You need some license. You should not do that without anything, like, because if something happens, go down, you get sued and you will lose everything. Matter of fact, let me say this: your first strategy, make sure you have some insurance, some type of insurance, so in case something does happen, they don't take your stuff. So
yeah, I think these are great points from Rev and Rashawn. One of the things I started with my company, I started out as a sole proprietorship. And if there's one thing you take away from this particular segment, don't start as a sole proprietorship. That's the one business entity that I would steer clear of. But of course, and again, the surrounding theme is here. These are things that help you as you move forward. I crawled a lot as I was trying to grow the business without a plan, so to speak. So yeah, there's right now I'm incorporated. I'm an S corp. But I certainly, if I had a chance to do it all again, I'd pivot a little bit toward what Rashawn's doing with an LLC. But again, with that disclaimer, please consult your tax professionals.
Exactly.
Yeah, because each one does something different. So you definitely want to, if in short, without getting into legalities,
Also, let me give also it depends upon your personal life. So let me give some information about a corporation and LLC. The way a corporation works is that if your business is a corporation, that corporation is a separate person, which means that your corporation get paid does not mean you get paid too. So it don't go into your personal taxes. But if you get an LLC or anything else, that will actually say that if somebody pay you, it will flow through your personal taxes, which means that IRS said. So, for example, I was getting Social Security, so I'm not on it anymore. So I'll
timestamp this right here.
Let me make the disclaimer. But see, I had a corporation, so my corporation was getting paid, but legally I wasn't. So just give a tip.
Yeah.
If you're out there, say, you know what, I'm on Social Security, and I can't make only but so much money. You can start a corporation and let the corporation get paid.
Right. because each one
Is that
does something
sirens out
different.
here in your background? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, look, that's called learning how the IRS work.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You're right.
Look at this.
Yeah.
100%.
Look at this. That's why I became an entrepreneur. When I learned that the IRS pays you to travel, sign me up. When they pay you, they pay part of your meals, sign me up. I think it's the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean, because each one does do something different. Like Willie
Yeah.
was alluding to, and I think what you were getting to, why sole proprietorship, because without getting too deep into it, for a brief layman's overview, a sole proprietorship leaves you exposed to everything. So if something is to go wrong
Absolutely.
with your business, someone was to sue you, you cause an issue with someone,
Yep.
you do something wrong, they're coming after you, they're coming after all your assets, you are responsible for it all. For
Yep.
like me with an LLC, the benefit to an LLC for me, because I do a home health agency, is that I don't necessarily have the liability. So if something were to
Yeah.
happen, they go after my LLC. The downside, if you will, is that because it's an LLC, I'm considered personal income, or flow through income is what they call
Mhm.
it. So that means all the income or all the money paid to the business flows through my personal income. So at the end of the year, everything that business made goes on to my personal taxes, which is why I have to keep meticulous records, because I need to make sure that by IRS standards, I'm bringing down my taxable income. So that's through travel expenses, different payroll expenses, all those things. Because at the end of the day, whatever profit is made from the business, if I haven't paid taxes on it yet, it's going to be filed on my personal taxes. With like an S corp, you're incorporated, but they almost treat you in a sense, it's a separate entity, but it's almost like a sole proprietorship in a way, but you're protected, right? And then the other incorporation,
C corp,
what was the C corp, right?
C corp. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a sole business, which is a lot of what your larger businesses do and things like that. The downside, briefly, to incorporation, like for me, is double taxation. So when your corporation's taxed as a business, and then when you take money from your corporation, you're taxed again. So that's the downside to incorporation, is what they call the double taxation. So
Right. Which is why you need a tax
tax
professional.
professional, yes.
Yep.
To
A
briefly
good
speak
one.
on mine, I have an LLC, I have an S corp, and I have a 501c3. And I was, blessed enough to be able to have, afford someone to a tax professional, to say, this is the type of entity that will work best with this. This is the type of entity that will work, best for that, because we hear a lot about LLC, get an LLC. So all of my stuff would have been the LLC, and then, I wouldn't have been able to, maneuver in certain ways how I needed to for each separate business, just based on how I filed or how I was registered.
All right. And it's I'm glad you guys, one of the things that I kept hearing throughout all this conversation was consult a tax professional.
Yes,
No matter
definitely.
what you're doing, you have to make sure that you're actually talking to somebody that will be able to help you through this process, and where you won't land yourself in some trouble or in jail, or the IRS on your back because you didn't do something right. So that's a good thing to make sure that we remember out of this segment, as Willie, I think, said, consult a tax professional. So let me ask you another question. For the business that you have, did it require any special educational background for the business that you have?
I have a bachelor's degree in counseling and psychology. I'm working on a master's degree in theology.
So it has nothing to do with your business.
No, it doesn't always require it. I mean, I have an MBA, but that was more or less, I did it because I had already had a bachelor's in business. So I had an understanding of finances and things like that. So I went and did an MBA to get the further experience, also to compete with my sister. But there was the benefits to the MBA because they go into more executive management. They go into deeper into financial documents like closing statements and all that kind of stuff. So I did that for my own edification, my own knowledge, but it wasn't required for
Yeah.
my business, because you can, even if you just read up on, say, financial statements and things like that, if you have a tax professional or an accountant, they can handle a lot of that for you as long as you oversee them, ask questions. Don't let anyone do your books without you looking over your books. Okay, so always overlook whoever's looking over your finances, but you don't have to have an education in it as long as you're educated enough to find someone who can guide you or oversee it for you. So for me, no, I didn't need it.
I didn't need it either. I have a bachelor's in business and a master's in human resources, Rashawn. So, but I will say that some of the education, some of the competencies that I've learned from my education was very helpful in business, especially with things on the back end and managing people, and so a lot of the competencies that I've learned definitely helped, but it wasn't required.
Yeah.
Now I know, Willie, I would of course think for your business that you definitely had to have a background, in which I
Yeah.
know you already have a background in IT. You were a software developer, so for your type of business, for IT, was that really required, or it helps?
Let me do a quick sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear
Yes.
you fine.
Okay. So here's the real deal. I was again showing my age. I was fortunate enough to come into the business when computers and IT was booming. So I had none of the secondary degrees. I didn't have a bachelor's degree.
Oh,
I didn't have a master's or any of that. Actually, when I started my business, I had nothing. I only recently acquired the BS and a master's. And one of the things that I tell anyone that's within my orbit that is listening is that, once again, if you want to know how to not do it, come see Willie. These are things that I've learned. These are such great things to keep in mind as you're starting, because you can get to a point where I've been blessed and have run this successful business, but it could have been a road that was a lot easier had I done some of these things that these great folks on the panel are talking about. So I understand what happens when you don't have those things. And it could be as simple as not having, the one thing to have the understanding and the knowledge to do it, but the other thing is the folks that are around you that have that confidence,
yeah.
that to have that educational foundation that tells them you've put in the work for something.
Right.
So that will help you to move forward. So yeah, I right now the certainly moving forward, there's a lot of things in the MBA program where I would sit back and I would tell some of the instructors, like, boy, these are good things to know if you want to start a business, and thinking about the hiccups that I've had.
Josh, go ahead.
I think the education is not an issue until it comes to what you're actually doing in a business. And different businesses may need a certain expertise, and this is where you need an education at. But to run a business, you just got to learn about business in general, and you can get that just by other people, watching YouTube videos, and surrounding around other businesses. You would never know how to run a business until you're running a business, in a sense.
We're getting some feedback for you, Rose J.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I can tell you, even again, I talked a little bit on the last segment. When I look at entrepreneurship and I look at some of the things that I've done over the course of my years, the only one that I would say is real estate was one of the ones that was an entrepreneurship type business for me, because you're pretty much you're contracted by some broker to run your own business, to build your own business. And in that particular case, It just required you to have a state license as a realtor. And, there's a school that you must attend. You must pass a state exam to become a realtor. But other than that, the only requirement is that you have to have either a high school diploma or a GED. Learning the business itself, like I heard through many people, is really getting yourself surrounded by successful people. Whatever person that's doing that business, whenever you want to be successful at something, find somebody that's doing what you want to do, that's successful at what you want to do, and try to get up under their wing and let them teach you some of the strategies that they have used. And not all strategies that somebody else has used will always work for you, but it could
Right.
be a guide for you on how you should be able to do something, because some of the
Definitely.
things that you may learn from that person may have been bumps in the road that they took. Like Willie says, well, I can tell you a lot of things of not what to do, but Willie gives you that. He's a great access because he's already there. He's made it to this point. He has his business running. It's a successful business, but he can still come to you and say, well, look, I know you're talking about, I want to go into IT, and you're talking to Willie, and Willie might be able to say, look, you might not want to go this way. You might not want to do that one where you're taking all the liability yourself.
Sure.
So he's already taken the bump for that, but he's still a successful business owner. So he's one that you want to talk to. And it's not all about, like you said, a lot of us, as we talked about, like I said, for real estate, you can make big bucks in real estate.
Yeah.
But you only have to have a high school diploma or GED.
Mhm.
But you still have to get around the right people
Yeah.
that can help you. Networking was something that we heard in the beginning of this
Definitely.
segment. You got to be able to network. You got to be able to connect with people that are successful. Don't go to somebody who's failed at everything that they touched, every business that they touched, and say, hey, how do I do better?
Yeah.
No, you want
You know,
to.
I'm glad you said that though, because
Okay.
that segues into something that we kind of started this topic on the deep end and miss the shallow. The very basis of your strategy, one, is a solid business plan,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
one. So before you get in, while you're networking, and but before you even get into state licensure and all that kinds of stuff, you have to have a solid business plan. And I remember when I did my business plan, at first it was like 2 pages long. We are going to start our business was the first paragraph, in a sense. The second one is I'm going to make a lot of money. And then on the second page is I'm going to live life good. That's pretty much how my business plan went.
Yeah.
Until I actually, started submitting for loans and things like that. And they were like, this is not a business plan, dude. This
Yeah.
is a pipe dream.
And you can even back it up a little before
right.
for the business plan. Let me just jump in. If we're going to start at the beginning, even before you have the business plan, you want to do some type of market research for your
Yes.
business, because you want to understand who are my customers. What's the demand for this business or this product that I have. So doing some
Absolutely.
market research on the business that you want will really be one of your first steps that you want to take. And then once you have that and you understand that concept, then you want to do a competitive analysis to kind of, see who your competition is, what are they doing, and, just get some strategies from there. So now you understand, why I'm doing this business, who are my customers, and then who's also my competitors, who am I
Right.
competing against, what
Right.
do they have that I don't have, or what are they doing better than me, or what can I do, or provide that they're not providing. And then, you can jump, once you have this foundational knowledge, you can jump into your business plan. The Bible, I know we're not getting into biblical, but the Bible says people without a plan perish. So you want to have a plan. So this is your roadmap, of success, to know, how do I start? What are the steps, for me to take to be able to, get to where, I'm flying on my plane and, wearing my Versace robes and,
Yeah.
these
But I
type.
mean, a good resource for that though is the SBA. So
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
you go to the SBA, one of the things, if you're trying to apply for an SBA loan, if you don't have a business plan, you can put your business plan together on their website. It is a web format.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad, T, that you talked about competitive analysis and things like that, because part of your business plan with the SBA is you have to do a competitive analysis. You have to list your competitors,
Mhm.
and they almost require you to call your competitors and
Mhm.
find out how much they're charging as
Right.
if you are a customer, because you have to put all of that data and analysis in your business plan
Mhm.
for the SBA. So the SBA business plan is like 9 to 12 pages long, and
Mhm.
its mission statement, its vision, its competitive analysis, its market research,
Market
its
research, your startup
customer,
costs,
yeah, startup
startup
costs,
costs,
customer
financing your
analysis.
business.
Yep. And there's a
Mhm.
spreadsheet that you have to fill out and attach. It is an Excel that you have to fill out and attach to your business plan for the SBA, where you walk through, I think, what is it, T, the first 5 years, maybe? I think it's like you have to do your first year, maybe your second year, but I think it's up to 5 years to show growth and things like that. And it has to be realistic. You
Mhm.
can't jump in and say month one, I'm going to make $300,000. By the end of my first year, I'm going to be $8 million. I mean, some businesses do that, but they want to see realistic, right, expenses and things like that. So all the things that we're talking about that you have to do, if you go to the SBA's website, and there's somewhere on the website where it says to help you create a business plan, it walks you through every step of that, and it really makes you do the research on your business. And if you make it through that SBA business plan, you will know if you really want to do that business or not. Because again, it is not just your pipe dream that I wrote up on a Word document really
Very
quickly.
detailed.
Yeah, it's very, very, very detailed.
Rev J, you was gonna jump in?
I just want to say that one of the keys to success or strategies you should use, and I use now, is partnerships.
Mhm.
There's power in partnerships. If you
Sure.
can find somebody that you can partner with, either that do something similar to you, or that work together well with your business, you can have tremendous growth in a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think one of the keys to what's been led me to be blessed to continue this business as long as I have is one of the partnerships that I've had with larger corporations. So that's a good point. And again, Rashawn, you talked about the SBA. I think the programs they have over there are phenomenal. One of the things I missed out on is doing business with the government is their 8A program that they
Mhm.
run through. So yeah,
Can
that's a
you
great resource.
Can you quickly, because a lot of people don't know what that is. I know what it is, and I think T, you know what it is. We've talked
Mhm.
about it before, but there's
Yes.
a lot of people who don't even know that program and it existed. And I was in business for a year before I even heard that term. Willie, can you expound on that quickly, because it is a phenomenal program that is hidden for some reason.
I can try. I can do a little bit. It's a program that they set up that helps you and walks you through everything from soup to nuts to getting your business running. They have programs that they can earmark opportunities and set asides for small business folks and different categories of small businesses, be it service disabled veterans or black owned businesses and things like that. So it's a way that I'm not trying to disrespect me. It's almost like a training wheels for getting your business up and running. They're going to help you get to what you need, to include maybe some financial assistance and things like that. They have certain criteria. Some of them are stringent than others that get you into the program. But it's one of those things, certainly from a federal perspective, that they look at really favorably if you're a graduate of that program, because it really is, probably the first class in 8A is to go to Pump Your Brakes Institute and stop and pause and think about what it is you're trying to do first. And that's one of those things that 8A program will do for you. And I hope that's kind of what you were alluding to, Rashad.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a great program, especially that piece, because there is part of it that deals with minority-owned businesses, and they tell you how to, get the certification of being minority-owned or woman-owned, Hispanic-owned, and the different certifications that they have out there that, in some government contracts or some other businesses where they have to meet a requirement to do certain amount of business with minority owned companies, having that certification helps, and 8A walks you through that. Yeah.
Okay, we look, this has been great. This has been a great topic. We probably could go on. We're already a little over our time, but this is great stuff. We're going to get ready to close out. I want to again thank all of our guests today for coming on, sharing about their businesses, the strategies that they use. Now, the next time we come together, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and the success. So we get to talk about some of this. We talked about the struggles, we talked about the strategies, and then we're going to let you know there is success when you
Yes.
follow a plan. There is success, and you can be successful just like those that are on this panel. They are successful in the things that they're doing. And if I always look at, if one person can do it, anybody else can do it. So we look forward to you joining us when we do part 3 to this entrepreneurship and the success. Thank you all, my guests. Look forward to you all coming back soon. And we pray that you all share this information with somebody else. When you hit us up on our Facebook page, when you hit us up on our YouTube page, make sure you share this information with somebody else. And if you have some things that you would like us to talk about, something that you would like us to address, you can hit us on our Facebook page, email us. Our email address is out there. If you have some questions that we need to feed to our panels, send to us. We'll get you answers. We thank you for being part of Let's Chop It Up today. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you all.
See you later. Take care.
Bye, everyone.